Truly, there is nothing like sitting down in front of a camera for the first time in ages, and I don't know where this is gonna go, but we're gonna see where it's gonna go. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a while, so in case you're new or you've forgotten about me, my name is Helen. I am an American currently living in the UK, and I've had this YouTube channel on and off for 10 years. 10 years. That's wild to think about, actually. I just want you guys to know that this is, I think, the 4th attempt to make a video on my channel in 2022. The other two were rants that I just needed to get off my chest and I ended up never wanting to see again. And then I did attempt to make a 10 years on YouTube clip show, and that also fell by the wayside because I have a life. My life is busy. I did want to sit down and talk today because I think it's relevant. So a bit of background. I moved to the UK on September 5th, 2018, which means that as of tomorrow when I'm recording this, I will have lived in the UK for 4 whole years. Oh my goodness, 4 whole years. It's fair to say that I have changed a lot and adapted a lot in living here for 4 years, and a lot of that was thrown into sharp contrast last month because I visited not only just the US but my hometown for the first time since February 2020. I had such a lovely time. I hadn't been home for 2.5 years, which is the longest I've ever been away from Traverse City, and I got to see so much family that I haven't seen in a while. And then I haven't been able to make it over here. I got to see my parents' dog, which was the highlight of the trip, if you ask me. I miss that little sucker so much. But it also threw into focus some of the ways in which I have changed and some of the ways that Britain and America differ that I hadn't really thought about before until I kind of came home and had a little bit of a reverse culture shock. So I just wanted to talk about a few of those things today. Some of them are kind of the typical things that you would think of when you think of, you know, British versus American, and some of them are a little more specific to where I come from. Anyways, without further ado, this is the what Helen learned on her trip to America about how things have changed. Or something. The first thing that I want to take notice of is that accent, though, and I'm talking specifically in the ways that mine has changed, or rather has not changed, or depending on who I'm with. So I work in a job where I have to talk on the telephone quite a bit. If I'm around a bunch of Brits, or specifically these days if I'm around a bunch of Yorkshire people, my accent tends to slip. I don't know why it hasn't done anything yet in this video, probably because I'm at home. But I tend to go a little bit more posh when I'm speaking with my British colleagues, and it's not quite a full British accent. I'm actually trying, I need to stop. It isn't a full British accent, but it does tend to mirror whoever I'm talking to at the moment. Whereas when I went back to the States, oh my gosh, my Midwestern accent came back in full force. I talk very flat when I'm at home, or especially when I'm on the phone with my mom. Especially when I'm talking to my mom and my dad about like just stuff that's happening locally. I'll be like, oh yeah, there's more roundabouts here. God, I was even trying with that. I don't know. It's a weird one. And my voice also tends to be in a bit of a lower register in my Midwestern accent, whereas when I'm talking to people on the phone, I tend to go up a little bit. I'm not sure if that's because I'm a bit more nervous talking to people on the phone, or whether that's an accent thing, but I do tend to get a little bit more formal and high up and posh with the accent, which is really hilarious because my husband has a bit of a posh accent, but I currently live in Yorkshire and I hear a lot of Yorkshire accents, so it really is kind of an amalgamation of everything. Do I ever think I'll actually have like a full-on like quote-unquote British accent? Do I think I'll lose my American accent? No, I don't think so. I think I can see pretty well in and out of both, and I think my voice is just gonna be a mixture of it. So there's that. The next thing that I noticed upon coming home is that if you're from Michigan, you know that like our roads are just constantly under construction when it's not winter. And even when it is winter sometimes, that's just the way it is. Our roads suck so much. So when I got back, I was pleasantly surprised to see a few construction projects that I actually really liked. For starters, there were a lot more roundabouts here than there were when I left, even in 2020, the last time I was there. God, February 2020, man. I got in right under the nose. Wow. Yeah, there were at least 2 more roundabouts than there were last time I was there, and both of them at places I think that really needed them. They were places that were either really accident prone or were prone to long lines of people waiting because they're both on main throughways, or both. And I'm so glad that they got put in. And it was just weird because I hadn't been there in 2.5 years. Usually you see these kinds of things like in progress as you're driving around, but they were just there. They were there in places that I had like known my whole life, and especially in my previous job where I was a delivery driver. Yeah, that was weird to see, but also just incredible to see. And I believe, according to the Traverse Ticker, which yes, I still follow local news, thank you, there's a few more roundabouts planned, I think, and they're redoing the Parkway in Traverse City, and there's a couple intersections there that I think could do with a roundabout as well. Just they make traffic so much better, and of course we have a lot of these in the UK now too, or always have been. Roundabouts have always been like a thing in Europe, and they are proven to be safer. They force people to slow down without causing huge traffic backups due to red light, green light, or traffic lights, as they're called. Good job, Helen. So that was one thing I was happy to see when I was back. And speaking of going back and roads and everything, I drove for the first time in 2.5 years. Now, I live on a very, very quiet street. I say my parents. Does anybody else find this weird? Like, you know, like my parents have lived in the same house since the year 2000, since I was 5 years old, so I still think of it being like, oh, I live here, because I did for 18 years. Anyways, that's like a whole other thing. That's not necessarily Britain versus America specific. But my parents live on a really quiet street. There's like almost zero traffic except for people like leaving and going to work. And when I got in the car for the first time, for literally like 2 seconds, I started driving on the left side of the road, and immediately corrected myself. There was no one in the way. I was literally, like, my parents live in almost the middle of nowhere. So like, it's fine. But I just thought it was so funny that even when I'm sitting on the left side of the car and driving an automatic, I went to the left side and then to the right. Hilarious. I do have a driver's license. I just want to be really clear. I do have a US driver's license. I am licensed to drive in the US. I can't drive over here. I could have traded in my US license for a UK one in the first year of living here, but I lived in London, and we also weren't sure if I was going to be here after a year because of my visa situation. But actually, you know what? I did actually do really well driving. I didn't drive that much, but like I was really worried about how I was gonna adapt to being on the road after not having done it for a minute. But like after that little, like I test run around like my parents' very small neighborhood loop, like I was good to go. Traffic lights were fine, roundabouts were fine, and things that made me feel like a bit uncomfortable to do are things that have always made me feel uncomfortable to do, like making left turns unprotected. So fun. Hi, welcome back. It's been so long since I've done a YouTube video that I forgot to make sure I had a full battery in my camera. Good start. So I believe we left off at driving. Yeah, took me a minute, but did all right. Some of the typical differences between America and Britain definitely opened themselves up. In America, you tip as opposed to not tipping in the UK. That took me a second to remember, but don't worry, we made sure to tip all of our servers wherever we went, at least 20%. We got carded in the US, so that was fun. The drinking age in the US is 21, which means when Tim and I went out to dinner one night, just as a nice little date night just for ourselves, we got carded. Obviously because I know they're doing the due diligence. Now, I had my driving license on me, luckily. However, Tim had left his ID at back at my parents' house. So I got a cocktail and he got a Coke. I did ask if he wanted me to ask for a virgin version of one of the margaritas, but no. But that was just hilarious because I don't think I've ever gotten carded over here except maybe like a couple times, and honestly, only ever when I've been purchasing medicine for myself at the pharmacy, like never in a restaurant. We have to talk about food. This is gonna be very Northern Michigan specific because people ask me like what kind of foods I miss when I'm over in the UK. There are definitely quite a few foods that I miss and some that we definitely had on our list to get and bring home. But honestly, half of it really does boil down to like my family's cooking, like my mom and my dad, and especially his growing, and my grandparents' food and all of that. And don't worry, we got plenty of that while we were there because we visited everybody. However, if we're gonna talk about specific foods that I needed to have, Goldfish crackers, if you know, you know. This is just when we were shopping at Target, or Target, as everybody calls it in the Midwest. What else? Oh, I got the Swiss Miss hot chocolate packs with marshmallows. Gonna do me well in the winter. In terms of Traverse City specific stuff, of course, we hit up Cherry Republic to get some cherry stuff. Some stuff that we were able to bring back, like a cherry balsamic dressing that we're really excited to try out this week. We also got some of their cherry sodas. I got a cherry root beer. Tim just got a cherry soda. Oh yeah, root beer. Root beer, that's a thing that we don't really have over in the UK. Now that I think about it, we got to the Detroit airport, which was our last stop before Traverse City because Traverse City is like a teeny tiny airport. And the first thing that I did when we went to the Detroit airport, when we got through immigration, was like, okay, where's the Qdoba? Because I remember that there was one in there. I am trash for Qdoba. Like the second that we get one in the UK, I will go to it. It is incredible. It's better than Chipotle. Do with that what you will. Unfortunately, this one in the airport didn't serve quesadillas, which is what I really had a hankering for, but I got a nice burrito bowl anyways. And also got High C, which is the thing that we don't have over in the UK, which chef's kiss, yes. Okay, yeah, back to Traverse City food. Definitely got some fudge. If you know, you know. We went to Murdoch's specifically. Just the amount of flavors of everything was just insane. We wanted to get everyone, but they had a buy 3 get 1 free type deal, and we just finished up the fudge that we got like 3 weeks ago, and it still tastes good. We got Moomer's ice cream. If you know, you know. Actually, most of America knows now because they were voted the #1 ice cream parlor in America a few years back, I guess. Which means they had lines out the back door. Definitely not a local place anymore. We got a couple more local things. Steenster cookies, or Speculaas, as they are known in the Netherlands. For real. The Dutch diaspora lives in West Michigan and I'm definitely part of it. Tim, for some reason, that is his like American food staple. Like as soon as he like found out what Steensters were, like every time we've gone back, we've brought back like at least 3 packs. We tried to bring back a whole case last time, but our suitcase was too heavy. We needed to bring our clothes back more than we needed to bring the cookies, so we did have to offload some of the cookies, unfortunately. We went out for breakfast because there's plenty of breakfast places around, and I got the big 3-stack of pancakes, chocolate chip pancakes, obviously, and I couldn't finish them. I think my like the size of my stomach has decreased, I guess. I don't know. But yes, I definitely have gotten more used to the smaller portion sizes in the UK, which means that when we were doing like a lot of bigger portion sizes in the US, I couldn't quite finish all of it, which was really interesting to me. The last thing I kind of want to touch on is just the outdoorsiness of everything. We actually got to do a few outdoorsy things while we were there that we don't necessarily get to do in the UK. And that's more based on the location of specifically where we are in the UK. So my dad rented a pontoon boat to go out on one of the lakes. And so all of us as a family, we got together. My dad and my brother picked up the boat in the morning and my mom took Tim and I shopping at Meijer to get like all the food on the boat because you gotta be well stocked. And literally we got all of the things. Like I'm talking like rainbow goldfish, 6-pack of grape soda, 6 packs of root beer, a 6-pack of root beer, sorry, not 6 packs. Tortilla chips, potato chips, pretzels, dips, Oreos, big honking things of Oreos and not like the little packs over here. And we had a great time. We had such a good time. I hadn't worn a swimsuit and gone swimming in so long. Tim had a nice time too, although he's definitely not as used to the water. And actually, yeah, after that day, we definitely like needed some time to recover, Tim especially so. So that's, I guess that's something that like can recover a little bit faster from, even though it's been a minute since I've done like a full like day out on the lake type deal. And then the day before that, We went to some of our family friends who also live on a lake, a different lake, but Tim and I got to go kayaking, which was really nice, and that's always been like my water sport of choice, if you will, except on rivers. On lakes specifically, I love kayaking, just because I tend to be someone where if I'm getting a little bit peopled out, that's a good isolating thing to do that isn't just going and sitting somewhere else or sitting in the car and moping. It's just a way to kind of get out in nature and just kind of live your life. I think Tim really enjoyed it too, except that he found a spider on his kayak, so we had to go back. It was just a nice, lovely break, and he took to it quite well. I was very pleased, but definitely something that I miss for sure. I mean, you kind of take it for granted when you grow up in a place like that, that those are activities that are available to you, until you move somewhere else where it's not. All this is to say is that if any of that is possible to do in the Lake District, we're probably going to end up doing that next year. I kind of want to end this video talking about a bit more serious topic, because yes, there's the little things that I noticed when I went back to the States really recently, but there's also a lot of reflection that I've had to do over the last 4 years, and a lot of people ask, you know, whether I would move back to the States or not, and the answer is right now, no. Not really. A lot of it has to do, if I'm being frank, with the Supreme Court rulings over the last year or so, specifically Roe v. Wade, rulings that they've made regarding the climate emergency, indications that they've made about the status of gay marriage. It's not a good place to be in the States right now, and as well as all the gun issues. And I will say that when I was home, my family in particular are very liberal, and we tend to run in very liberal circles. However, when we were doing a bit longer drives and driving through smaller areas, we did tend to see a lot of Trump flags, and that made me very anxious, I have to say. Until America does a lot of stuff, like guaranteeing abortion rights for all, and outlawing guns, and giving teachers a fair salary, and doing more with public transport, making healthcare affordable. There's too many problems with the US right now for me to want to move back. Little tastes of it every year are fine. I think we definitely enjoyed having that week there. And we're already planning for next year. You know, it's a place that I don't mind visiting at the moment, but just knowing how, particularly in my community, things tend to be a bit insular, and just the way that the country as a whole is at the moment, even given all of the problems that we're having in the UK at the moment, I don't think I would move away. I really enjoy it here. We're in a new house. With the dedicated office, which is really nice. We have jobs that we like. I have a team that I enjoy writing with. There's a lot over here for me that I really feel like I've settled and made a life for myself here. And I said as much in my immigration application, which, by the way, guaranteed to be here until at least 2024. That was the thing that happened this past year. Very happy about that. Onward to indefinite leave to remain, and onward after that to citizenship. I can't wait. In terms of what's coming up next on this channel, I truly don't know. I definitely have a lot of ideas that I want to do, but I do have a real job now. Other things that I do, I write for a Eurovision site. Right, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot to mention that. I'm still writing for that Eurovision site. A lot has happened in Eurovision since I last spoke about it, including us coming second in 2022. And the UK is hosting, so things are really, really taking off. Leeds is one of the options, so we've been doing a lot of work around that. It's a great time to be a Eurovision fan, especially if you're in the UK. Check out our work. It's thateurovisionsite.com, twitter.com/thateurosite, same Instagram, thateurosite, Facebook, thateurovisionsite. All the promo. We have an incredible team. It's grown so much. We're from all over the world, although a bunch of us are based in the UK, but it's just been a great time, and hopefully I get to do a little bit more of that now that I've got a bunch of hectic things out of the way for myself. One other special plug that I want to mention is, so my sister, Greta, is a vocal performance major. She just graduated from U of M this past year, so she has an MA, yay! She's super talented. She started uploading videos to her YouTube channel of her singing. She's incredible. Please go watch her stuff. I need to take a moment to be proud of her. So anyways, yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow me, HelenMarie95 on Twitter, HelenMarie_95 on Instagram. Tumblr, why not? HelenMarie95. I mostly just reblog cute animal things that my husband sends me, so if you want that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what else you want to see on this channel. And remember to keep living awesome lives. Bye.